Good night. So, I'll speak a bit about my agenda for this weekend, and also about the hunt of the last 2 years with regards to the sculptures and in general, and the horrible cost that was taken from everyone, and it's still like that because of the way that the Israelis treat me, and because of the fact that these Israelis are supported by many people around the world that do not see how their behavior is literally destroying the earth, just destroying the earth. So first of all, I bought today 200 glass, microscopic glass, and also glass covers of the big kind. So you know, I like to create samples like that will cover the whole slide. And this will surely help me with. I had only 10 like my brother, that my mother brought me from the. They were mine, but everything they had, they had. It's either on storage, like in Holon, inaccessible to me, as you know, I'm under arrest, or in my mother's apartment. So I've had only 10, and I had to clean them all the time. And since they were and like the samples, the biological creatures are not even biological. They're not made of carbon. So many times, they are made of all sorts of materials. So it was just stuck on the glass and couldn't be removed. So as you've seen, it became like that. You couldn't even clean it. So now I have 200 new ones, and I will probably only use once each, which will be much more accurate for every purpose. Also, they're not that expensive. 200 and 200 covers only cost me 80 shekels, like $25. Things that even I can afford. So they will be used both for taking samples of the various mixtures and that I have, and both the water mixtures, and also the ones in the metal boxes, various metal boxes with the wax mixtures. They prepared about a week ago. Unfortunately, they are not stored in freezer because I don't have money for freezer. The simplest one costs about 1,000 shekels, and I don't have it. Hopefully in the future I'll have a freezer in my room. I still use this cooler, and from time to time I put ice on it, but I can't always replace the ice. It's too much work, and I don't have enough I don't have bottles. But also another thing that I will do is to actually take samples very gently from paintings. Not from all the paintings. As I said, I have between 50 and 100. I should make an inventory list sometime, but it's not super critical because why? I don't see why. What I will do is that I will choose about something like 5 or 6. I guess initially 5 or 6 paintings that I will formally put on sale, and the question is where actually, and I think that the best place is the site that I already have, the site that I call the Neo Art and Science. And first question is this site even visible to people? You need to understand that much of the problem that of my problem during the years was that the Israelis blocked my internet for public access. So I don't even know if people see they have access to it. I don't have any, and this is a major issue. For every internet activity. But it's the responsibility of the world to stop this shenanigans, this cruelty of the Israelis. I cannot stop it. So that unless you'll present me with some compelling reason. Otherwise, I'll put the information of the cell in the site that I already have. Again, it's called the Nero's Arts and Science in WordPress. The Nero's Arts and Science.wordpress.com. There are also already various photographs of paintings, and also microscopic photographs that I have taken. The 5 or 6 paintings that I will formally put to sell will not necessarily be out of the ones that are already presented there, because some will be, and if you have if any one of you if you've seen some of it that you found that you like so I'm open to suggestions, or any other one of the close to 100 that that I have, maybe because you follow me for throughout the years. But what I will want to do is to spread the 5 or 6 over the 1.5 year that I'm doing paintings. To take you understand? It will be spread it throughout the this the entire area, 18 months of paintings, which can be done from the paintings that are already listed there, but maybe I will choose others as well. And why do I want to do? What's the reason? The reason is that, as I said, I'm going to take samples from the painting gently and watch it under the microscope, and put the results on the site. So we will be able to see if indeed these paintings are acting as alien containers, which actually is something that I understand from you, from your various comments. I've never thought about it in the past, and I've never took such I've never done such an experiment. As I said, I certainly created the paintings with the clear intention of them being evidence, a testimony to my existence, because I was always afraid, and I'm still afraid, that the Israelis will just make me disappear, make me, in the Orwellian language, al-ish, non-person, a person that is not necessarily murdered, even though usually it ends up with is murder, but the key issue that is deleted from records. That is as if he was never existed, and that's something that totalitarian regimes are doing. And certainly, I understood very well that the Israelis always try to maintain this this card in their sleeve, this option. That's why it's so important for them to everyone that surrounds me will be some people from the intelligence community. So when time comes, they will just be able to pretend that they never knew me. So yes, it was initially created as a testimony. That's why I placed it spit, even a little bit of blood sometimes, and certainly ash and sweat. Physical, my own physical, and I understood that that it will not be regular DNA, but I thought it might be some kind of evidence. I haven't thought about it at the time as as I didn't thought that it did occur to me that maybe it will contain nanobots, because I knew that I had a strong conjecture for years now, and I've spoken about it years ago, that my body contains nanobots, microbots. That was not a new conjecture. It wasn't really in my mind. Maybe I thought maybe it can be placed there, but I certainly did not know that they are so advanced as that they can actually create biotopes, ecosystems, and certainly not. I haven't thought about that they can do it in such a variety of materials, presumably silicon, oil, even acrylic, as you suggest. It's still to be. I'll try to actually take acrylic samples and maybe immerse it in water or oil, so they will be visible under in a simple backlight microscope. That's also one of the things that I will do this weekend. And who knows, maybe even iron, or other metal. So this is extremely interesting, and I'm this whole thing of the paintings as like alien terrariums or aquariums is something that I understand from you, my like subscribers. So I'll actually test this. I mean this like this weekend, as I said, this will be 5 or 6 paintings. I mean from different because it's interesting to see how it goes. Like I mean how it what's the evolution? I mean throughout time. Like I mean. And these 5 and 6 will also be the ones that I put to sell in this site. Also, we should think about the pricing. I'm not going to sell it for free as the Israelis want. You need to understand that I mean the issue of money is central to the way that the Israelis are enslaving me. It was always very important for them to take all my money from me and to make me as miserable as possible, even though I have a very good profession and military academic experience, business experience, but I mean it was central to my subjugation that I will be poor as I am now, and this must be stopped. As I said many times, being less poor will not make me solve all my problems at all, because my main problem is the fact that I live in a Nazi state, me and my daughters, and this will only be solved by intervention of foreign forces. But certainly, being poor is not fun at all, and if this will stop being the case, I will have many new options. Although, it should be said that the paradigm of making me poor and taking everything from me for free and try to make me give them everything for free using all sort of combination of violence, state oppression, and as you know, the Soviet method that it is made of all sort of hypnotic triggers that are mostly just humiliating, but probably do not work at all. This, I should say that for any intelligence person, this, it's almost needless to say that this is gravely wrong, not only from moral perspective, but from practical perspective. Many of you, listen to my video regarding the sculptures, and maybe you doubted the numbers, but the numbers are correct. Yes, during the last 2 years, I created hundreds of these eggs from clay. Each of them contain ejaculation, one ejaculations, and also quite a bit of sculptures. Some of them still exist in my mother's apartment that contains multiple, 4 or 8 or even up to 20. If we speak about the ships, the 3D models of the starship, they contain up to 20. So yes, the numbers are correct. And yes, if you really want to think about it, about the numbers, so yes, the numbers adds up and they are correct. So even if you completely, do not take into account the issue of multiplying, and you should, because you've seen that they can be multiplied in various ways, the neurons, and you just think about the neurons that are inside this, the first generation neurons, the pure neurons that came just out of my body, the numbers that are were created in my body and just got out of it in the, I would say, in natural way. And you take into account how many were destroyed during the last 2 years. This is amazing. This could be of help for so many people. And this could contribute to science immensely. And they are all lost. They are all lost. Most of them, 80%, not all, but 80% is, I guess, my estimation is lost. And the rest of the 20 is not in my possession right now. It's in my mother's apartment. I hope I'll get it one day. And you think, this was all lost just because, the Israelis, were insisted on getting it for free. They didn't want to pay nothing for it, and it was all lost. Because from my perspective, I rather it be destroyed than giving it for free, because giving it for free was the reason for my subjugation. That was why I was hunted all the time, because they wanted it for free. And I mean, anybody with a little bit common sense, I mean, could have understood it, like, I mean, without explanation, that the whole idea of like persecuting me, even like without, I mean, taking into account the morality that is so evil, and even without taking into account the fact that I'm a representative of another culture of creatures that they will completely destroy the earth because of how you treat me. Even if you don't take this into account, even if you don't care about morals at all, and you should, even if you don't care about God at all, and you should, even if you don't care about the people that sent me, that I mean, don't like the fact that you treat me that way, and I mean, they can annihilate you, and they will annihilate you, and you should take it into account. But even if you take none of it into account, still, I mean, the way that the Israelis treated me for many, many years, and certainly, I mean, during the last couple of years, is so irrational and like anti-evolutionary, I would say. I mean, it's so stupid, and because they lost so much, and the world lost so much because of this fight. I mean, if they were not lizard people, they would understood like a long time ago that it's in their interest that I will be rich, not poor. But no, I mean, the agenda was and still is that I must be as poor as possible. And I mean, I almost have nothing right now. So I mean, this must be stopped for so many reasons. And also, it was never really the interest of the Israelis. They act like that because not because that's their interest, but because they are lizard people. They are lizard people beyond like any like possibility of redemption. They have no salvation, and the world must, I mean, anyone in this world that, I mean, hope for any kind of salvation should cut its connection with Israel and do everything that they can to destroy this country, plain simple. And of course, rescue me from this Nazi hell. So, I will want to sell, I mean, initially 5 or 6, and I should think about the price, but it will not be a cheap one because I need money, and because it was a lot of money, and why should it be cheap? And I mean, if you want to play the game of like breaking me, as I said, like as the Israelis, as I said, I mean, I don't have to sell these pictures in order to survive, because in any way I'm already at like rock bottom. And that's another thing, something that the Israelis never thought about it. I mean, if you place a person like in such a position, if you take everything from him, you take his daughters from him, you take, I mean, he has no friends, no family, no possession, he live like in a hostel for homeless people. I mean, so what he's got to lose? What I mean, I already literally eat like, I mean, literally, I mean, the food that I eat comes from charity, like from like leftovers from Google. I mean, yes, it's just a fact. That's what I eat. Like leftover from like the Google kitchen, like in Tel Aviv. I mean, yeah, I mean, they literally so. That's what I eat, and I'm thankful for them because, like, I mean, because of that, I have like something to eat every day. But I mean, when you reach to such a point that, I mean, what you eat comes from donation, like, I mean, you don't really care about, like, I mean. So, I mean, and everything was already taken from me. Like, I have nothing. I don't see my daughters. I have nothing. So, it's such, I mean, low level. I mean, I will not be anxious to sell those paintings for like scrap money, like, because why? How much would it like? I mean, it will not substantially help me. I will only do something that will substantially change my like financial position, because otherwise it will be pointless and meaningless. And I do not fear poverty because I already am in the lowest of the lowest. Like, I already like, at rock bottom. So, I mean, if you want to play the game of like, I mean, let's pretend that you're not who you are, and let's pretend like, I mean, and like that these paintings do not worth anything. So, I mean, let's do this pretense like the Israelis for many years. But I would say this is extremely irrational, because I will just not play the game, and I do not play the game, as you understand. I mean, I have the paintings for like, if I wanted to play the game, I would have played it long ago, and I do not. Like, I mean, I only sold those 2 paintings for my mother because I am, like, I sense that, I mean, that like, it should be like, that yes, I mean, some evidence is needed, like for some people, but other than that, I mean, like the paintings are with me for quite some time now, and I didn't sell them, and although the sculptures, and I mean, it is for a reason. I mean, and the reason is that I couldn't sell it like in Israel, other than like for scraps, and it is completely irrational. As I said, I had in mind to go like to the fly abroad and sell it like abroad, like in Hong Kong, try to sell it in Hong Kong, and like 3 days after I received like my newly issued passport, I was arrested. And this is not a coincidence, because the state did not want me to get out of Israel. But this was certainly something that I thought about, is like to fly to another country and try to sell it there, because I thought that maybe in another country I mean, it will be easier to actually sell both the paintings and the sculptures in like I mean, in their true price, and not like for scrap money. But I mean, the Israelis arrested me, framed me in a crime I did not commit, and arrested me 3 days after the passport was issued last December. That's a fact. That's just a fact. So now anyone who would want like the sculptures or the paintings should come here, because I mean, delivering it by mail is out of the question. This is a totalitarian state. If I will like send it using any courier at all, the Israelis will for certain just take it away for themselves. This is certain. You cannot trust the Israelis. This is a totalitarian state. And I cannot leave Israel because now I'm under arrest. So that's the plan, to create like, I mean, 5 or 6 to put 5 or 6 paintings for sale. If you have any, like, I mean, kind of like, if someone really wants something specific, I mean, they can suggest it from the variety that is now. You can view it in like the site, the Nero's Arts and Science. If the site is not available to you, then it's a problem, and I should try to think what we can do. Or if you know of other paintings, because maybe you follow me in Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, I mean, you can actually, like suggest other paintings that you know, and I will create like, I mean, list 5 or 6 of the ones that are already listed in the site, but maybe also I'll add like others that are, I mean, for more earlier like periods, because I wanted to be stretched like over all the 18 months or so that I do with paintings, because for each of the paintings that I will formally list for sale, I will accompany it with a video of microscopic like, I mean, microscopic sample from the paintings, like, I mean, that will, in case that I actually found that, I mean, there is something interesting in it. It was not proven yet, I mean, not to me, but let's try. That will be main objective for me for this weekend, to actually watch it under the microscope, both like oil and acrylic, to see the differences and to see what we can see. I should mention that in order, that's extremely important. In order for this to actually happen like that, for these paintings to act like alien aquariums, this means that for certain they should have been like exposed to radiation, to electricity and sound attacks. Because otherwise I couldn't explain it. I mean, I didn't like smear semen on them. I mean, the only news that were put there, I mean, for my just I mean, mine or tiny remnants like for my saliva, or maybe like my sweat, which is like, these are, I mean, such a small amount, and of course, I mean, it's much like smaller amount than you can find in any of the samples that, I mean, that you can see under the microscope in any of the videos that I posted in YouTube in the last half a year. Like, I mean, it's tiny bit of neurons that were actually placed there. And okay, also the existence of germs and microbes, I mean, this could easily be explained because I do not work in a sanitary environment. So okay. And the mediums are the mediums, either the oil or the acrylic. But I mean, the main component that is, I mean, for certain needed in order to create like, I mean, to make like an alien aquarium for such from such like canvases is electricity. This can, I mean, how who first I didn't electrify my painting. This is absurd, and of course I didn't do it. So the only way that this could actually happen is by the electrocution from the neighbors and from the people that I lived with. And I've said it for a long time now that I'm subjected to this terror. And this is a proof that it's actually so. And it was actually the most of it was probably like done in my mother's balcony, where I like hanged like many of the paintings, specifically the ones that had like significant symbolic meanings, which that means like many of the flags, and also the Titanomachy series, and also the courses like the asteroid series. But there are many paintings that they were never. There are dozens of paintings that actually were never hanged like nowhere, like outside of like for very short like time in my like when they were dried in my apartment in Shoam, like way before I mean, they were never hanged like in Rishon LeZion at all in my mother's apartment. They were scrolled like in a box, like scrolled like, I mean, you know, a scrolled like a rolled canvas in a box. And they were never subjected to the electricity effect in Rishon LeZion. But if we will actually see that they also act like as alien terrariums, this will be another proof that of something that I say for so long, that these kind of attacks were already, I mean, were like, I mean, regular part of my life in Shoam as well. In Shoam, where I raised my daughters like since they were 2 and 3 years old for 4 years. And I've said it a lot, and I posted it in Facebook, I mean, but no one cares at all, that I am under sound attacks and electrocution attacks in Shoam, a city with like, I mean, 9 out of 10 like in ranking in the socio-economical status according to the national records in Israel. And I was subjected, me and my daughters, since they were 2 and 3 years old. Even like the worst inquisition in the world didn't even thought about like torturing children that are 2 and 3 years old. But that was the fate of my daughters and they lived with me half the time. I raised them in joint custody with their mother, so half the time they were with me, and they were subjected to such attacks in Shoam for 4 years, the 4 years that I lived in Shoam. And if we will actually see that, I mean, the earlier paintings, I mean, also contain like, I mean, alien like terrariums in aquariums. This will be like a clear evidence for that, because those paintings were just rolled like, I mean, they were rolled like in a suitcase or like in a closet. They were not even like present. They never saw like the light in Rishon LeZion, in my mother's apartment. And I speak about like early paintings, and I mean, that's why I want to like to list, I mean, to choose that. I mean that some of the 5 or 6 that we listed like for sale will be those early paintings, and they will also be subjected to microscopic tests. So I'll be able to actually see if they are also alien containers. And if they do, this is another evidence. Like, how could it have been like, unless what I say is correct, that in Shoam it was exactly like in Rishon LeZion. I was subjected to regular electrocutions and sonic attacks from that were operated by my neighbors. This was Emek Ayalon Street 41, like Emek Ayalon Street 41, apartment 3, first like floor. And I was subjected to these attacks, and they didn't ever see even like taking into account the fact that half of the time, I mean, like there were children in that. My daughters, I mean, initially when they moved into this apartment, they were 2 and 3 years old, and like Hila was 2 and Owen was 3 years old, and this was until last August when I left the apartment, and my daughters were 6 and 7 years old respectively. And throughout all this time, they were subjected, and of course I was subjected to sonic attacks and electrocution attacks. This happened in Israel, not like a million years ago, but I mean, throughout, like I mean, from 2018 to 2022. In the town that I mean is considered one, I mean, in the socioeconomic status, 9 out of 10 according to the Israeli, I mean, statistics. Needless to say, many of these neighbors are actually, I mean, financed by the Americans as usual. So these attacks were actually financed by the Americans. The worst inquisition in the history of humans was financed by the Americans and took place right now. And I spoke about it in whatever like stage that I could, including Facebook and like Twitter, whatever I could. I spoke like no one cares. No one cares at all. No one cares. These are facts. These are facts. These are facts.